Hey there, welcome to Technability. So what we have here, getting straight to the point, is a iPad 4 with iOS 7 Beta 6 and an iPhone 5 with iOS 7 Beta 6. I just wanted to go ahead and do a comparison here of the latest and greatest on both latest and greatest Apple handsets. Now of course, in about less than 2 weeks, 10 days or so, you're going to get the big reveal of the iPhone 5S. And of course the 5C, possibly OS Mavericks, and maybe even the iPad mini might see some sort of appearance, but that's unlikely. But we do know that the 5S and budget 5C will be revealed come September 10. And that's in San Francisco at the event which Technability will be at. So we wanted to go ahead and compare these two, again latest and greatest running Beta 6, just to give you an idea of what to expect and whether or not the iPhone runs a little bit better, or a little bit faster, smoother, a little bit more fluid than its iPad counterpart. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is just basically transition through screens. Obviously you got the transitioning on the iPad, and if you want me to just go ahead and rotate this here, just to show you guys how this looks rotated. Alright, you can see the transitions on both. Alright, pretty smooth on the iPhone, actually very smooth on the iPhone. If I just go ahead and pan down there, you get Spotlight, and that's accessible on any of the screens. If I go ahead and pan down here, you got a little stutter there, but that's usually only prevalent with the first swiping down. But in this case, it seems like it's an issue every time you swipe down, but not really that noticeable. You could see obviously panning through a little bit faster on the iPhone. Alright, so let's just go ahead and rotate this back as such. Place it right there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go into settings on both here. They're about equal. Alright, let's go ahead, before we do anything, let's go ahead and just multitask, close out of everything on both devices. Alright, so you can see the multitasking on the iPad obviously is much bigger. Again, if I was to rotate it around, okay, I guess it doesn't rotate in multitask. Alright, so that's something we've learned. It doesn't rotate in multitask, but in any case, if I go ahead and rotate it here on the iPhone, also doesn't rotate. Okay, so when you're in multitasking, you cannot auto-rotate. Alright, so if I want to swipe them away, just do that. You could do as many, or you can only see up to 3 in one screen, so you can swipe away all 3. Alright, so that's how it works on the iPad. You can see on the iPhone, again, same situation. If I want to swipe away all 3, I could. Now, when you go back into an app on the iPhone, it's a pretty smooth looking process. Now, if I was to go back into an app on the iPad, let's say the settings, it's smooth as well. Okay, sometimes it stutters. Let's go ahead and exit both of them, see which one is faster on that end. Oh, about equal. Okay, so definitely about equal. Again, similar hardware on both of these guys, so you're going to get a fairly equal experience in terms of speed. Alright, let's go ahead and just look at Safari here on both. Oops, let's go ahead and try that again here. Close out. Alright, let's turn on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's on here. You can see the settings panel on this obviously is different than the settings panel on the iPhone 5. Clearly you have the side panel here and obviously everything else right here on the right hand side. Alright, let's go ahead and connect. Okay, you can see the gesture base right there, which you don't have here because obviously you got the panels. But with iOS 7 on the iPhone or on the iPad, you do have the gesture, so I could just go back like that. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at Safari here on both. Obviously it's going to be different on the iPad. The tabs are different looking. So with the iPhone you got the Chrome-esque looking 3D tabs. You can see right there how these look. Alright, so I could basically, let's go done here. Oops. Okay, you can see how this looks right here with the tabs, and if I just swipe them away, they're gone. Okay. With the iPad it's a little bit different. Okay, similar to what you get with previous versions of Safari on the iPad. Obviously you have the very common, tabs up here that I could just X out. I'm not a big fan of that small X. I've made that evident in other videos and other reviews I've done of iOS 7. I'm also not a big fan of the implementation of that X in the notification settings here. So basically if you have a notification, you have to exit out. I do wish that they had a feature to just swipe it away. They don't. And you can see one other thing here with the notification center on the iPad is it's bigger. Alright, previous versions of iOS on the iPad, you're only going to get this little area right here. Now, they did add the transparency on the left and right hand side, but there's no data or information there. Alright, so it's basically there just to fill in the screen. And of course you also have the control center down there. Same functionality as the control center right here on the iPhone. So it's similar in that end. And speaking of being similar, the lock screens are also very similar. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the lock screens on both. Okay, you can access the notification on both. You can access the control center on both. The camera on both. Get that right there. And obviously to unlock the device, you just swipe. Okay. Alright, speaking of cameras, let's go ahead and look at both cameras here. Now if you're in public using this camera as an actual camera, get a phone. Get a camera. That's just my opinion. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at this camera here. Okay, you can see, take a picture of the iPhone. Super fast, right? Alright, obviously you have the front-facing camera as well. Alright, you have panorama, you have video, you have square. Okay, let's get to the photo right here. See all the photos that I just took. Alright, let's go ahead and do the same here. Feels a little bit faster on the iPad for some reason, but the difference is here you have the filters. And of course you also have panorama, which you don't have on the iPad. Alright, but you do have the front-facing camera. Okay, you can see that. Alright, so if I was to go into one of the photos here. Okay, now sharing is the same. Okay, you can see one difference. Down here you have a little panel where you can actually see all the photos on the iPad. You see that right down there. You don't have that on the iPhone. Even if I was to auto-rotate the photo, okay, you still don't have that. Now, if I was to just say pinch in, I can close out of the photo. I could just kind of play around with it. 360. Alright, you got the same here on the iPhone. Play around with it, whatever. Now, if I want to share this photo, simple. Okay, I go here, go to the little sharing button, and I could share multiple photos at once, etc. Same here. Alright, you get what they give you. Message, mail, iCloud, Twitter, Facebook, Flickr, same here on the iPhone. Actually, you do not have the iCloud feature on the iPhone. Or actually, you should, huh? Odd. Okay, I guess you don't. But in any case, you can set it as wallpaper and whatnot. And you don't have third-party integration here with third-party apps. So don't expect syncing with apps that you download right here in the sharing options. You're not going to get that. No big deal to some people, big deal to others. You know, let's exit out. You see it was kind of stuttery there on the iPad. That's an issue that you're going to deal with the iPad, is a little bit of stutter here and there for some reason. Again, it could be a beta thing, or it could just be an issue of it's not necessarily yet, you know, to the point of where it should be, even with Gold Master. Now you can see the folders, very easy to create a folder. Obviously you just take an app icon and you drag it into another one and you've created yourself a folder. Okay, simple to do, right? Fair enough. Okay, so let's exit out of that. Obviously both of them have Siri.
Siri not available.
Of course,
Connect to the internet.
Siri not available.
Male voice Siri, which is available on both. We're not here to do speed tests in terms of network, because that's almost basically going to be the same. But we are going to look at some speed tests in terms of opening and closing apps. So let's go ahead and just try to open, say, music. Okay, about equal. Exiting out, about equal. All right, let's look at the calendar here. Okay, calendar. Oops, let's try that again. Okay, calendar. About equal. Okay, so you can see the calendars on both. Clearly, you can just set up a reminder right here. You can ask Siri to set it for you. You got the same little thing going on here with the iPad. Okay, so that's available. Now, one of the features with the iPad that's not available on the iPhone is the gesture-based multi-finger touch system that they have here because of the large screen. You don't have that here. Of course, like I said earlier, you do have gestures in terms of just being able to go back, whether it be in settings, whether it be in messages, or even in the browser. But you don't have it across the board like you do here with the iPad. Let me show you guys what I mean. If I take 5 fingers here and I pinch out, I could actually just kind of close out of the app like that. So you don't even have to use the home button. See the little cool animations. Now another cool thing is that if I go back here, I could swipe over and just get to my various different tasks. Okay, I could just swipe over, get to where I was if I don't want to use a home button, or of course you can always just do that and swipe them away. You can see again a little bit of stutter here and there. It's available, it's prevalent, and it's not that big of a deal, but it is there. And let's just go look at Spotlight here and use the keyboard. Hey there. Okay, it's fairly commonplace. Keyboard's a little bit smoother on the iPhone, which I think has always been an issue with the iPad. I think the keyboard hasn't been as responsive as it has been on the iPhone. Again, not that big of a deal, but something I did want to mention. Alright, so again you have notes on both, similar on both. You get that little gradient effect in the background of the notes. Of course you have reminders here. Okay, now let's just go ahead and look at the wallpapers. You have the parallax motion feature on both, so you'll get that little 3D or quote-unquote 3D effect. Let's go to wallpapers here. Let's go to wallpapers here. Okay, you can see the wallpapers on the iPhone. You have the dynamic wallpapers, which are basically the live wallpapers. and you have the same thing going on here, same wallpaper. So you have the phase beam-esque looking live wallpapers there, and I can just close out of that like that. Okay, and again, the control centers, going back to the control centers, similar. They just look a little bit different because of the size of the screen, but they all have the same features. Actually, you know what? I just noticed that there's two things missing here on the iPad. You don't have calculator, and you don't have the flashlight, because obviously there's no flash on this device, so you're not going to have a flashlight. And auto rotation, I guess, is not. There you go. I guess when the control center is open. So you don't have flashlight on this, and you don't have the calculator, which is interesting. Just noticed that. Okay. Okay. Alright, third-party apps on both run fairly, fairly well. Let's go ahead and open Tempo Run 2 on both. Okay, open first on the iPhone. It's pretty smooth on both. Yeah, it's hard to play them on two different screens. Alright, let's go ahead and exit out of both of them. About equal. Alright, you have Game Center, you have the calculator, you have all the other common apps that come with this, such as voice memos, etc. Obviously, you have all the Google services here, which run fantastic. In my opinion, Google services for iOS are really top-notch. I mean, some of them are even better than their Android counterpart. Arguably, it may not be necessarily true for most people, but arguably they are. But if I just click home, let's say I'm at a different screen and I go home. Okay. Again, both are pretty smooth, pretty fast in what they do. Now, here's the question. Is iOS 7 worth putting on your iPad now as it currently stands, with iOS 6 being as integrated as it is and as, honed up as it is for the iPad? For a lot of people, I would say wait, only because there are subtle differences in terms of the speed. I mean, I can't really show you right off the bat exactly how much faster it is for the iPhone, but there's just certain things that you could do with the iPhone, like entering and exiting apps, utilizing the folder, even something as simple as Spotlight, locking the screen, unlocking the screen, just a little bit faster. And that, the screen unlock sound still doesn't work here on iOS 7 Beta 6. So I hope they resolve that soon. But there's a few things that are just a little bit faster here on the iPhone 5 in terms of iOS. It just seems like it's a little bit more refined. Whereas with the iPad, although it is a pretty solid system, I do feel like they get a little bit slower, a little bit more waiting time between apps, and it's just not as smooth looking. Spotlight, you can see, just stuttered there a little bit. Everything functions fine, and that's obviously what people are looking for, is functionality. But in terms of just comparing it to iOS 6 and speed and whether or not it's that much better, I would say stick with iOS 6 until they come out with an official version, or until they resolve some of these speed issues, because the iPad 4, for all intents and purposes, is a fast tablet. Beautiful display as well. So you would expect it to be just as fast, if not faster, than iOS 6, but there are a few issues that need to be resolved in that end. Otherwise, I do think it's a perfectly fine system. I don't think there's anything wrong in terms of utilizing it for day-to-day use with iOS 7 on it, but I do think that if you're a person who expects fast and just kind of immediate responses, the type that you're used to with iOS 6 on the iPad, stick with iOS 6 for now. Otherwise, if you're a developer, you're looking at updating to iOS 7 in any way, shape, or form, hey, you know what? You can always downgrade back if you don't like it. So it's worth giving a shot. I mean, it is a comprehensive and seems almost like it's complete and polished, but there are a few things, obviously, that need to be addressed, which I think hopefully they will soon address. September 10, it's coming up, the announcement. They're going to basically reveal both these things, and Technability is going to be there. We're going to be there live at the event come September 10 in San Francisco, so check that out on www.technability.com. Obviously, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Technability. We are your source for no-nonsense tech. We got original content updated as often as possible. I mean, the website's updated daily. We have original content, all sorts of entertainment and opinion pieces. We do have all sorts of different cool stuff on the YouTube channel, including contests to win free smartphone accessories, so check that out as well. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching Technability. I am Berge, and have yourself a nice day.